Every step you take today is laying a brick in the foundation of your future. It doesn't have to be flashy, it doesn't have to be loud, but it has to be consistent. The world rewards those who show up, even when they don't feel like it. Success doesn't show up at your doorstep with a fanfare. It waits at the end of a quiet, disciplined road paved by daily effort and personal accountability. You don't climb mountains by leaping to the top. You do it step by step, breath by breath, inch by inch. You wake up going, someday I wake up. But I bet you're going to wake up saying, hey, I'm thinking about it. I want to start a business. I want to be a financial advisor for people. I want to be a gym owner. The power lies not in the size of the leap, but in the willingness to keep moving forward. Too many people underestimate the compound effect of small, consistent action. 1 hour today, one decision today, one act of self-discipline today. It adds up, it stacks, and it eventually transforms. Most people want the results without the repetition. They want the finish line without the daily grind. But that's not how anything great is built. Look at the champions, the leaders, the visionaries. They didn't win because they had a single big moment. They won because they kept showing up, especially on the days when it felt pointless, especially on the days when no one was watching. There's a silent strength in doing the work when no applause is coming. That's where character is forged. That's where greatness is born. You don't get stronger by shouting about your goals. You get stronger by sweating through the reps when no one's cheering. That quiet room, that early morning, that late night, that moment you choose progress over comfort, that's where your future is being written. Your dreams are not waiting for next year. They're not waiting for your perfect mood or the perfect situation. They're waiting for you to make today count. They're waiting for you to rise above distraction, above excuses, above temporary emotion, and do the thing that moves the needle forward. One step is enough today, as long as it's the right one. Every step has a consequence. Every action is casting a vote for the person you are becoming. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. You don't have to be the best today, but you have to be better than yesterday. That's the code. That's the quiet law of progress. Compete with who you were, not with who they are. You might not feel the impact of today's decision immediately, but don't mistake delay for denial. Seeds take time. Growth takes time. Just because the fruit isn't visible doesn't mean the roots aren't growing. Keep showing up. Keep choosing the hard path over the easy one. Keep building the life that reflects who you want to become. And when you feel like quitting, remember this. Every great life was built one brick at a time, one disciplined choice at a time, one uncomfortable step at a time. What you do today echoes into the future louder than any wish, any hope, or any plan ever will. Motivation is a spark. It flares up with emotion, with inspiration, with a good video or a strong quote, but that spark burns out quickly. Discipline is the flame that stays lit when motivation disappears. It's the internal code you live by when your feelings don't cooperate. Discipline is the silent agreement you make with yourself to show up regardless of how loud your excuses are screaming. There are days when you won't feel like doing it, days when your body is tired, your mind is scattered, and your spirit feels dull. That's when most people quit. That's when they justify taking a break, pushing it to tomorrow, convincing themselves they'll be better when they're in the mood. But champions, builders, legends, they act anyway. That voice becomes your power when everything else tries to pull you off track. Habits are formed in the shadows, not in moments of hype, but in quiet hours when no one sees what you're doing. And over time, those habits become identity. You don't just work out, you become the person who trains. You don't just read, you become the one who feeds their mind daily. You don't just practice discipline, you become disciplined. That shift changes everything. You can't control motivation, but you can control your routine. You can control your alarm clock. You can control whether or not you honor your word. And the beautiful thing is that every act of discipline makes you stronger. Every small win makes the next decision easier. That's how you build momentum, not by chasing hype, but by stacking habits. People admire results, but they often ignore the discipline behind them. They see the body, not the mornings of pain. They hear the speech, not the hours of repetition. They celebrate the win, not the years of sacrifice. Discipline is invisible on the surface, but it's the root of everything visible and lasting. Motivation makes you feel good. Discipline makes you better. It rewires your brain to perform when it doesn't want to. It trains your nervous system to move through resistance instead of being stopped by it. And once you learn to lean into discomfort, you stop needing ideal conditions to grow. You create your own fire, no matter how cold the world feels. The people who make history weren't the most motivated. They were the most consistent. They were the ones who kept showing up, kept refining, kept pushing when everything in them said quit. Motivation is a nice visitor. Discipline is the resident you need living in your house if you want to build something that lasts. Waiting for the perfect moment is the greatest lie comfort tells you. It whispers that you need more time, more clarity, more confidence, but all it's doing is keeping you in place. The truth is, no time will ever feel ideal. No moment will ever announce itself as the one. You create the moment by moving. You declare the time right by deciding it's now. People spend years preparing, planning, analyzing, doubting. They build dreams in their minds, but never pour the first drop of sweat into building them in reality. They say they're waiting for a sign, for stability, for permission. But success doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to movement. Action opens doors that thought alone never will. Every second you wait is a second you steal from your future. The opportunity you hope for might already be waiting on the other side of your first step. There are no guarantees, no perfect conditions, only choices. You either move forward despite uncertainty, or you stay still and let the moment pass. Progress doesn't wait. It rewards those who act while others hesitate. You don't build courage by thinking, you build it by doing. The first move will always feel uncomfortable. That's not a sign to stop, it's a signal that you're stepping into growth. Comfort zones don't produce greatness. The people who win aren't the ones with the best timing. They're the ones who decided to start even when everything wasn't lined up just right. Success isn't about timing the market of life. It's about being bold enough to plant when the ground feels uncertain. You take action not because you're completely ready, but because you know staying still will cost you more than any mistake. Delay becomes a habit, and the longer you wait, the heavier the fear becomes. Fear feeds on waiting. The more you postpone, the more your doubts multiply. But once you start, once you take one imperfect step, fear begins to shrink. It doesn't vanish, but it loses power. Action steals the oxygen from your excuses. It silences the voice in your head that keeps asking, "What if?" and replaces "What's next?" No one ever became great by waiting for green lights in all directions. The road to achievement is crossed in motion. You figure it out along the way. You fail forward. You adjust mid-flight, but you don't sit on the runway hoping conditions will magically align. You take off, even if the skies aren't clear yet. Every minute you wait for the right time is a minute you give away to doubt, to fear, to someone else who's willing to move first. There is no right time. There is only now and what you choose to do with it. Your daily habits are the architect of your future. They're not random routines. They are the invisible scripts writing your story one decision at a time. You don't suddenly become disciplined, successful, or focused overnight. You grow into it, action by action, through what you choose to repeat every single day, whether anyone's watching or not. You can't rise above the standard of your habits. You may dream big, talk loud, and set bold goals, but your daily actions will always tell the truth. What you do consistently reveals what you value. and eventually who you are. The mind follows motion. Repetition builds identity. You don't need to tell the world who you are if your habits already do. The person you want to become is already within reach, hidden inside your current behaviors. Every habit you build is a vote cast toward the type of person you're becoming. Enough votes, and you won't just believe it, you'll become it. Bad habits are easier because they ask for nothing. They thrive in silence, in comfort, in delay. They don't challenge you, they comfort you into staying the same. Good habits, on the other hand, demand intention. They challenge your excuses, disrupt your patterns, and force you to choose your future over your feeling. That friction is where the transformation begins. You don't break bad habits by removing them, you replace them. You build better systems, better routines, better environments that pull you toward growth. Waiting for willpower is a mistake. Design beats discipline. If your environment rewards laziness, even the strongest mindset will crumble eventually. If your environment supports focus, even small efforts will compound. Repetition creates wiring. The more you repeat a habit, the more automatic it becomes. That's how greatness is built. Not in moments of hype, but in the thousands of silent decisions that most people overlook. The gym session when you're tired. The book chapter when you're distracted. The early morning when your bed is warm. That's where your blueprint is being drawn. Identity doesn't start with belief, it starts with behavior. You don't wait to feel like a champion, you do what champions do until it feels normal. That shift from action to identity is where real change begins. It's not about acting successful, it's about aligning your habits with success until they become inseparable. Excellence is not an event, it's a pattern. It's built in your quiet hours, your non-negotiables, your self-chosen standards. The way you do anything becomes the way you do everything. If you're sloppy in one area, it spills into the next. But if you're intentional, consistent, and disciplined in small things, it creates a blueprint that scales into every corner of your life. The world celebrates big wins, but it's the small, quiet efforts that build the path to those victories. Every inch you move forward today, no matter how small, adds up over time. The mistake most people make is underestimating the power of daily discipline. They wait for one big breakthrough instead of showing up and stacking the small wins that eventually create momentum. Progress isn't always loud. It's not always visible. Sometimes it looks like reading one page, showing up to the gym tired, writing one paragraph, or choosing water over soda. These moments seem small in isolation, but they create a ripple that reaches much farther than people realize. Consistency multiplies effort. An inch done daily can move mountains. Waiting for a perfect time to take a giant leap sounds noble, but it's just another form of delay. Life rewards those who take steady, relentless steps forward. One small decision today has the power to change how you think, how you feel, and what you believe about yourself. It tells your mind that you're serious. It tells your future that you're coming for it. The inch today sharpens your identity. It reminds you that discipline doesn't need ideal conditions. It just needs your yes. And when you keep saying yes to small actions, they stop being tasks and start becoming part of who you are. It's in those inches that you prove you can be trusted with more. More progress, more responsibility, more results. Every mile is made of inches. Every transformation is built from tiny, repeated moments that most people overlook. You don't get strong by lifting the heaviest weight once. You get strong by lifting what you can, repeatedly, consistently, without skipping the hard days. The compound effect of small efforts is invisible at first, but unstoppable over time. It's easy to underestimate a simple habit. It's easy to overlook the impact of showing up 5 minutes earlier, staying 10 minutes later, giving just 1% more. But over the course of weeks, months, and years, these small moves separate the discipline from the distracted, the committed from the casual. It's not about what you do once, it's about what you do always. When you shift your mindset from chasing miles to claiming inches, you learn to value the process. You stop waiting for everything to click and start trusting that forward is forward no matter the speed. That's how you beat procrastination. That's how you silence self-doubt. Not with one big leap, but with hundreds of quiet inches stacked over time. You don't need to impress anyone with giant moves. You need to be consistent when no one is looking. The power is in the repetition, in the rhythm, in the daily grind that no one posts about. Small efforts may not look like much at first, but they're laying bricks for a future too solid to collapse. Excuses are easy to make, but expensive to live with. They feel comfortable in the moment, but they cost you momentum, growth, and self-respect. Every time you choose an excuse over effort, you're handing power to your limitations. You're telling your future that it can wait, that it's not worth the discomfort of discipline. But your future doesn't care how tired, busy, or unmotivated you are. When you face the mirror, you confront the truth. Not the filtered version, not the soft story you tell yourself to feel better, but the raw reflection of your choices. The mirror doesn't lie. It doesn't adjust for intention or excuses. It reflects what is. And if you want to grow, you have to stop negotiating with your potential and start being brutally honest with your effort. Too many people defend their excuses like trophies. They justify laziness, glorify distractions, and protect their comfort zone like it's sacred ground. But nothing grows there. Nothing great comes from excuses. Greatness is born in the confrontation between who you are and who you could be. And that confrontation only happens when you look yourself in the eyes and take full ownership. There will always be a reason not to act, not to start, not to push. Life isn't going to wait for your schedule to clear up or your emotions to align. It moves, it demands, and if you don't respond with discipline and action, someone else will. Someone else will take the opportunity you hesitated on, build the dream you only talked about, and live the life you postponed. The most dangerous thing about excuses is that they're often true. Excuses might explain your situation, but they don't improve it. Every excuse you hold on to becomes a wall between you and your future. And the longer you let it stand, the stronger it becomes. But when you face the mirror, really face it, you start tearing down that wall. You stop hiding behind reasons and start reaching for results. You realize that the only thing standing between you and your potential is the story you keep repeating to yourself. Excuses give you a temporary escape, but permanent regret. They protect your pride in the short term, but poison your future in the long term. There's power in saying, I didn't do it because I chose not to. That kind of honesty hurts at first, but it sets you free. It gives you your power back. It reminds you that you're in control, even when it's uncomfortable. The mirror doesn't care about your intentions. It reflects your execution. The future doesn't care about your explanations. It reflects your decisions. You can either keep building reasons for why you stayed the same, or you can start building results that prove you changed. But it all starts when you stop looking for a way out and start facing the truth straight on. Time doesn't pause when you hesitate, and it doesn't rewind when you regret. Every moment that passes is gone forever, sealed into your story as either progress or procrastination. You don't get to redo yesterday, and you can't borrow from tomorrow. What you do with today is the only thing that matters, and every second misused is a second stolen from the life you say you want. People act like they've got unlimited time, like the clock is theirs to control, but time moves without permission. It doesn't care about your mood, your plans, or your comfort. While you're deciding whether or not to show up, someone else is out there moving, building, becoming. The clock doesn't wait for your motivation to return. It ticks forward regardless of your excuses. You won't always see the cost of wasted time immediately. That's what makes it dangerous. One day missed feels harmless. One choice skipped feels forgettable. But they pile up. They echo. They take small bites out of your potential until you're left wondering where it all went. And the truth is, it didn't go anywhere. You gave it away. One delay at a time. Every time you push your goals to later, you're withdrawing from your future. You're handing over opportunity to the version of you who might never show up. The version of you who keeps saying tomorrow eventually becomes the person who looks back and says, I could have. And by then, the window has closed, not with a crash, but with quiet, steady neglect. You don't get a refund on time. You don't get credit for what you meant to do. You only get the outcome of what you actually did. Dreams fade, not because they're impossible, but because they're postponed into oblivion. The people who get what they want are the ones who make today count like their life depends on it, because it does. There's no power in potential unless it's activated. You can have talent, vision, and intelligence, but if you waste time, none of it matters. Time is the great equalizer. It doesn't care where you came from or how good your ideas are. It rewards the ones who use it with intention and punishes the ones who waste it with regret. Even rest, when done with purpose, feeds your future. But scrolling, avoiding, delaying, those aren't rest. They're time theft. And every time you choose them, you're voting against your own progress. You can't escape the responsibility that comes with your hours. You're spending your future right now with every choice you make. If you really understood the value of time, you'd treat every day like an investment. Not every move has to be massive, but every move must be intentional. You don't have to rush, but you do have to move. Because once today is gone, it's gone for good. And the only thing left will be the question, did you use it or did you waste it?